So we set out in Lucerne to go to and around the Lake Constance and camp in a relatively small city on the Swiss side of the lake called Arbon. Just stay tuned to see whether that worked out or not. So yeah, sit back and relax while we take you along on a little 300-kilometer 2-day trip here. Starting our trip, we had to get out of the canton of Lucerne. So here we ride through a small lakeside city called Meggen. Then we go through Küsnacht, which is right by the Mount Rigi that you can see here on the left side. And we try to just enjoy the early mornings around the rolling hills around the mountain area here.
Climbing to do here.
And big shout out to my girlfriend here, who incredibly did the whole trip on a used bike that she got for around 200 francs that has friction shifters, super skinny tires and weighs like 20 kilos. And to give you guys the opportunity to have a look at this beautiful scenery, I did not miss the opportunity to fly my drone here.
First little break of the day at the beautiful spot here.
And after a short break at around 45 kilometers into our trip, it was time to continue on through the villages of Vietznau and Weggis in order to go towards the direction of Schwyz so we can go around the Mount Rigi. And while crossing our first construction site of the day, we had the luck of getting some sunlight for the first time of the day. It was very much appreciated since up until then it was quite cold, 6 to 8 degrees in the morning. So that was slowly but surely turning for the better to get some more warmth around here. Up until this point, we quite literally only rode right next to the lake, which this, in addition to the weather turning for the better, really gave us great hope for this being one epic ride day. So we have about a fourth now of the whole trip. We are now close to Schwyz, which is 45 kilometers in or so. So now we're on our first actual climb of the day after about 55 kilometers, and it's the first time you really realize how heavy the bike actually is. So yeah, quite the tough one. We're now at about 10%. So yeah, wish me luck getting over with this one. Now about halfway there and I'm sweating profusely, which is super annoying. So I cannot wait to get up there and eat something delicious. Let's go. So eventually, of course, we reached the top and had a little break, ate something, got some fresh water, and I took the time to take a little video of our two bike rigs. And if you want to have a more in-depth video of these, or mine, or hers, or whatever, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to make the video happen. Now we are about 70 kilometers in, So we slowly but surely reach our halfway point and we get to one of the most fun parts of the day, which is a 15-kilometer descent from the sort of higher area of the canton of Schwyz down towards Rapperswil, close to Zurich. And that was, yeah, definitely one of my highlights, maybe even one of the best descents I've ever ridden. Here you see us riding over the bridge that goes from sort of mainland Schwyz from one side of the Lake Zurich to the other side towards Rapperswil. And while being in one of the biggest cities on our trip, we took the opportunity to take a bit of a longer break, but because both of us were pretty smoked, I forgot to film, I have to be honest. So yeah, we just went to a cafe and had a pretty big go at it. Cake, sandwiches, coffee, yeah, everything that our heart desired at the moment. And then we quickly went on to try to catch up with time so that we make it, hopefully, to our destination before the sun goes down. So we are now about, I would say, 70% there, but yeah, it's very taxing. It's another climb now towards the city of St. Gallen, and once we are there we should be somewhere close to the lake so that we can start to look for a camping spot. But yeah, up until then we'll still take some time and effort. So this part I also particularly liked because we were in the sort of backlands of St. Gallen, of the canton St. Gallen, and we were just riding these beautiful B roads with very few people, very few cars around. We sort of just had the road to ourselves to freely ride, talk and enjoy the scenery. After enjoying the scenery, we took the opportunity for one last real pit stop in a small village in the canton of St. Gallen. However, because it got quite late and we only had about 2.5 hours of sunlight left, we had to hurry up a bit. And hurry we did, because we had to average about 26-27 kilometers an hour in order to make it in time just for sunset, which you will see whether or not we made it. But up until then, we still wanted to enjoy the scenery as much as possible, and as you can see here, we were riding some beautiful B roads around some old abandoned houses, cycling only tracks, and just overall very calm and enjoyable roads to ride on. One thing that I will remember for sure from this trip is never ever go with skinny road tires,
I also thought we will be mostly riding asphalt and proper roads, so I went with 30mm Continental GP5000s, which wasn't a great idea because, as you can see here, there will be gravel from time to time, and in this case I was quite lucky because I've never gotten a flat on this trip. But yeah, you can never be too sure, so I would definitely recommend going with gravel tires next time. And one last thing I have to note before we arrive at the campsite is that these are the moments that I ride for. As you can see, the sun is slowly setting, you see the clouds, it's getting sort of red purplish, just a beautiful scenery, and this is really a great vibe. So, as you can see, we almost made it in time for sunset. Not quite, but good enough. And we got really lucky with our campsite. And last but not least, this is a ride by the numbers. So as you can see, quite a long day in the saddle. So, if you liked the video, please consider liking or subscribing. The second part of this video series is coming next week, so stay tuned for that. And with that being said, goodbye.